Major arrest made in school shooting. Liberal media refuses to report who it was. The left has reached a fever pitch of hysterics with their anti-gun rhetoric. The left has reached a fever pitch of hysterics with their anti-gun rhetoric in the wake of the Parkland, Florida shooting that claimed the lives of 17 people. Since the tragedy occurred almost 2 weeks ago, the mainstream media has attacked legal gun owners, the NRA, and President Trump for the actions of the deranged gunman that fateful day to further push their gun control agenda and misinform the public with biased information. Now, these leftists, in an attempt to control the anti-gun narrative, have refused to report on a huge arrest made in the school shooting that blows their official story out of the water. There was a time in our country that the American people could trust the honest reporting of the news media, but those days are far behind us. Over the last decade or so, the mainstream media has been infiltrated by the far left to help spread misinformation and brainwash the public into despising conservatives. Their motive is simple: to control the public's perception of news events that are happening and spinning them in ways that will promote the liberal agenda. For instance, the mass shooting that took place in Parkland, Florida almost a couple of weeks ago. After the tragedy occurred, the leftists in the political world and on the news seemed to clap their hands with glee to push for more gun laws. There were town hall meetings, interviews with the victims, and protests in the streets to garner more support to water down our Second Amendment rights and around-the-clock coverage. However, these journalists failed to report on another potential school shooting arrest that happened just a few days after the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School shooting, and the reason why is disgusting. You see, the Stoneman shooting fit the neat package of what the gun grabbers in Washington, D.C. could sell to the public, but this next potential assault, well, not so much, and here is why. The police in Rochester, New York acted on a tip when an illegal immigrant and public school student threatened students with a shotgun on social media. The dreamer, Abigail Hernandez, made the terrifying threat on Facebook saying, "I'm coming tomorrow morning, and I'm going to shoot all of ya bitches." Of course, you didn't hear about this in the mainstream media, and why would you? This story destroys the rhetoric of the left that these dreamers are sweet, talented, and intelligent youth that just want a chance to live the American dream. Though while every other media outlet in America ignored this massive story considering that it happened on the heels of the Florida shooting, one local news outlet didn't. A student with a shotgun made a terrorist threat against East High School on social media, according to Rochester police. Abigail Hernandez, 21, is charged with making a terroristic threat, a felony. She is currently in the Buffalo Federal Detention Center in Batavia because she is an undocumented immigrant, Rochester Deputy Mayor Cedric Alexander said. Police said the initial threat came from an anonymous Facebook account, which our investigators had to track down and determine the author of the Facebook account. Hernandez allegedly made the threat at 5:08 p.m. February 15, stating, "I'm coming tomorrow morning, and I'm going to shoot all of ya bitches." The alleged threat was posted to the East High Facebook page. It has since been taken down. Hernandez was arrested at home at 8:15 p.m. February 20 after she made a credible threat against the school, Alexander said. Police recovered a shotgun in her home. The threat referenced a shooting in sympathy with the school shooting in Parkland, Florida, Alexander said. Hernandez is a student in the Rochester City School District, but she is not a student at East. Authorities declined to say where she is enrolled. Rochester Police Deputy Chief LaRon Singletary said he was unsure why Hernandez allegedly threatened East High. He said a city school district member alerted police to the threat. Hernandez was arraigned in Rochester City Court and bail was set at $15,000. Through an automated system called eJustice NY, ICE determined Hernandez was an undocumented immigrant, Alexander said. Hernandez had status under the DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, program, he added. The mainstream media buried this story since it not only embarrasses the left in their love affair with dreamers, but also the Broward County Police and FBI in their mishandling of the many tips that came flooding in concerning Nicholas Cruz. For months before the shooting, the police and FBI received 39 different tips on Cruz's behavior, but they let them all slide, essentially signing the death warrants of these innocent adults and children that day. The actions of law enforcement in Broward County are despicable and need to be adequately addressed, and hopefully, that will happen sooner than later. So, you see, this is why the media is burying this story, since it shows how inept these individuals were in the Sunshine State and how those in Rochester acted quickly to stop another tragedy from occurring. But also, there is another reason for the mainstream media silence. For years, the left has shipped in thousands of illegals and refugees who have a tendency to be violent, as this report shows, all while trying